Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Sanctuary and the world of Diablo 3, Reaper of Souls, the Ultimate Evil Edition. You're probably wondering right now, why the heck are you back playing Diablo? Why are you making more videos on Diablo 3? You did your playthrough months ago. That is true, but there are a couple of reasons for that. Number one, the reason why I kind of got in the mood to play Diablo 3 again recently is because Diablo 3, at least on the PC, not on the console version, unfortunately, but on the PC, they have these things called seasons, where people will take a character or make a new character from scratch and then play through the game and level it up as much as they can and play through the campaign, get to adventure mode, and try and do rifts and such, and basically try and get certain rewards that you're supposed to only be able to get during that particular season, but only with a new character from scratch. So watching people play that got me in the mood to play the game again. And so I've been working on a couple other characters, including my Demon Hunter and my Wizard. By the way, I don't know if you've noticed. Look at this. He's got wings. Do you know what this is? I think they added this in. I don't know why they did, but this is something called Mercy's Gaze. And I believe these are the wings of that character in Overwatch called Mercy, I think she's called. But anyway, yeah, that's why he has wings now. It's kind of cool looking. It's not exactly like the Archangel wings that you can get for getting the collector's edition of the game that I could only have on PC. But hey, at least I have wings now, like you can have in the PC version, so at least that's kind of cool. So I was also, as in the process, I noticed there were some lore books I had not gotten, and so I wanted to go get them. And by the way, you can tell how much I was looking for them because I'm up to Paragon level 70 now. But also, I got to thinking about something. I noticed a lot of people have been checking out my Gotham City Stories video for Arkham Knight. And I guess it's kind of cool that some people are checking out a video where all I do is just read some of the backstory and lore that the game provides. And I thought, well, maybe I could do that. If some people are wanting to watch videos like that, then maybe I could do that for another game or two. And I thought Diablo is like one of those games that's perfect for that. There are so many books with lore and backstory to this game, because there's a ton of it. And why don't I just make videos on those? So that's kind of what the next few videos for this game are going to be, is me going over the lore books and the backstory of this game. As you can see, we are back here in our beloved town of Tristram. Right now I'm currently in adventure mode, where you can see some of the different things, such as merchants, where you can use certain items you get in the rifts to buy mystery things. That's where you go through the Nephilim obelisk in order to get to the rifts. This is Oric. Look, Zoltan Cool is back. How cool is he? Zoltan Cool.
Just a
so, this is a new thing they added in a recent patch called the Kanai's Cube. What this does, it basically kind of adds some more crafting possibilities. If you get a ton of legendary items, like you can extract legendary powers, but you need other certain items like a Duran Rune, a Chaldean Nightshade, other different things like that, which I clearly don't have. I have Death's Breath, but I don't have all these other things, and I'm not really sure how to get some of these things. But it's really the only thing I could do. With this thing, and I wish I could be able to use these. Like, I've gotten some legendary items I would love to extract legendary powers for, like these, like Schaefer's Hammer, Gold Skin, Razor Strop, all these different legendary items I picked up, even Scourge. I've replaced my go-to sword, Scourge, with another two-handed axe here. It's a Messerschmitt's Reaver. The lore behind this weapon, I mean, it doesn't have a special ability, legendary ability. It does ignore durability loss. It has a lot of regeneration and damage as well. But here's the cool lore behind this weapon. This mighty weapon once hewed its way through the demon-infested catacombs beneath the old Zakharum Cathedral in Tristram. Could it be the weapon the warrior Aiden used to defeat Diablo all those years ago? So that's kind of cool that this could be the weapon that was used in the original Diablo game. I'm just saying, like, that lore, I think is kind of cool. So anyway, speaking of lore, and here's, of course, our awesome Tyrael, and Lorath. But, and of course, there's Covetous Shen, Miriam. So, yeah. I thought, since there's so much lore, why don't we go over it? In this video, we're going to go over the world lore books. We're going to go through these one at a time. So this could take a while, I know. For those of you hoping to see gameplay, these are not going to be the videos for you. This is going to be just for those of us who are big lore, backstory nerds that, want to know about as much of the lore regarding the world, the people, the bestiary, the quests, all these different things. So, I mean, you're going to have the voices doing it, and I'll probably react or say something regarding those. But, yeah, it's basically going to be like the Gotham City backstory video where all I did was read all those different backstory things that you got from all those riddles. So let's start off with an abridged history of Chaldean Part 1.
Most commoners know Chaldean by reputation, if not direct experience. The trade city has existed for thousands of years, predating even the Mage clan wars. Its neutral stance throughout the following centuries saved it from the destruction that visited the nearby city of Vizjun, and life, along with trade, carried on. The Trade Consortium Council has always been the ruling body of Chaldean, but it gained additional strength after the fall of the Vigerai. The councilmen saw opportunity in the rapidly growing Zakarum faith, and they allowed the fanatics to build their enormous cathedral, Saldenkal, within the center of the city. Not content to reign supreme in commerce and religion, the Trade Consortium Council aspired to make Chaldean a nexus of learning as well. It proposed to unite the mage academies in a massive new structure, the Ashari Sanctum, which has remained a beacon of knowledge and advancement ever since. Chaldean changed drastically in recent years when the Kurast nobles all but invaded the city. Soon after, their emperor Hakan I joined them and made Chaldean his capital. Though his actions seemed audacious, he managed to bring further peace and prosperity to the city for the duration of his reign. All was well under the new emperor until his untimely death forced the Zakarum priests to find a new heir for Kejistan's throne. Through a series of elaborate rituals, undoubtedly a spectacle for their superstitious followers, they determined an impoverished infant in the north was Hakan I's spiritual successor. After the Zakarum priests' rituals were complete, they employed a group of reckless mercenaries, the Iron Wolves, to retrieve the child. They dubbed him Hakan II and installed him on the throne despite his scant years. Chaldean has been in decline ever since, and I can see no reprieve in sight.
So basically that series of books explains why there was a child emperor in Chaldean. Basically explaining, so if you're wondering why a child is ruling this city, this is why. So at least that can explain why we were dealing with a child emperor there.
We are fighting a battle that was lost before it had even begun. To follow the Black King into a war against Westmarch was folly of the highest order. Each day only brings us closer to complete and utter defeat, but our commanders refuse to surrender.
So I guess this is the journal of a guy who deserted Leoric's army when he was the Black King.
It is decided. We will flee this doomed war. I had hoped to find solace in this decision, but it brings only more uncertainty. We will never see our homes again, and our names will be dishonored. But what choice do we have? Certain death in the service of a madman?
Huh, yep, that's pretty much what Leoric was.
We found what was left of Roston yesterday. The wretched creatures of the Borg seized us without warning. We are being punished by the gods. I would laugh if I had the energy. We fled the war to save ourselves, but it seems death already knew our names. This cave has killed even more of us than the Borg we thought to escape. We must leave at once. But to where? The only choice left to us is where to die.
You know, for a second when he said, but it seems death already knew our names, I doubt Malthael cared and gave two craps at all about those guys.
We are men without a country, shamed and cursed for fleeing an unjust war. We should have stayed and died with our honor intact. Instead, we are slaughtered like pigs by beasts that feed on our remains. Death on the battlefield would have been far better than the fate we have chosen.
Oh, regret. Ooh, the fall of the barbarians.
I have been fortunate enough to learn much of the barbarians' complicated history in my time. Yet the origins of these large, mighty warriors are hazy at best. Legend holds that they are the offspring of Bull Cathos, an ancient who embodied their ideals of strength, bravery, and courage.
Oh, Deckard Cain. I miss you, buddy. I miss you so much. Oh, man. I keep hoping, because I keep saying that if there's one character I want them to add in Heroes of the Storm, I want it to be Deckard Cain. Just imagine that. But, oh gosh, I wish they could bring Deckard Cain back for this series. You know, I don't care if it's like, if he's like a Force ghost. You know, like he's our Obi-Wan Kenobi talking to us from the Force. I don't care. I want Deckard Cain back. Listening to these books is like the closest we may ever get to having him back.
The children of Bull Cathos settled in the northern steppes, an area that is now known as the Dreadlands. Theirs was primarily a nomadic and tribal culture, though they had a few permanent settlements such as Cesseron and Harrogath. A group of revered former warriors known as the Elder Council ruled the barbarians. The barbarians have always defended their lands in the north from trespassers. They believe that it is their sacred charge to guard Mount Ariat and the World Stone within it from the outside world. Unfortunately, their battle prowess and tenacity have been misinterpreted as bloodthirst and territorial savagery by soldiers in Westmarch. 20 years ago, Baal was loosed upon the world. He besieged the barbarian capital of Cesseron and used treachery to access the World Stone Chamber,
Lords of Destruction
circumventing
expansion.
the three ancient guardians, Talik, Modok, and Korlik. In the end, he succeeded in corrupting the great artifact. Though Baal was slain by heroes, his damage was irreversible.
So yeah, this is recapping what happened in the Lord of Destruction expansion to Diablo 2.
The Archangel, Tyrael, shattered the corrupted World Stone to prevent the demons from using it. But the impact of the explosion destroyed Mount Ariat, leaving a massive crater in its wake. With nothing to protect, the barbarians grew aimless and divided. Now, they are scattered through the north, among the ruins of their long history.
I mean, this lore does make me want to continue play through this game as my barbarian, just to get to Act 5 and see, like, is there any different or unique dialogue playing as the barbarian when you're in Westmarch, because of this history here involving the barbarians in Westmarch.
When King Leoric came to court, he brought many nobles with him, and nobles, oddly enough, want noble crypts. So I showed up with my shovel, thinking to make easy profit by digging a few holes. Ha! There's no stopping their demands around here. Now, I eat, sleep, and breathe dirt, it seems.
Such is the life of a gravedigger.
The local Khazra tribes have become a serious threat. They attack caravans and are moving into areas where they haven't been seen before. We need you to take care of this problem for us. We'll pay 25 gold pieces for every Khazra head you bring back.
Long ago, I would open rifts for the Nephilim to help them train for battle. They fought bravely, facing down enemies in places pulled from the deepest corners of their memories. Ours is a race of great power, but we are nothing unless we temper it with skill. If you are to achieve your birthright, then conquer the rifts and take your rightful place among us.
Basically, explain what you're going to be doing in adventure mode.
For many years, villagers were too afraid to settle near the ruins of the cursed town Tristram. But as time went by, adventurers arrived to loot the old cathedral, and their business was profitable enough that new Tristram sprang up to accommodate them. Fewer travelers visit now, though, and the town is mostly populated by craftsmen and farmers.
Oh, our beloved Tristram.
The rumors of torture and worse grow every day. What has happened to Tristram and its king? I once thought Leoric a great man, but it seems I was deceived. We all were. He sends our meager army against West March on the morrow. What will become of us?
You don't want to know. On the desolate sands.
We, the Zakarum, have endeavored to make Chaldean a city of mercy and salvation, but we have not yet been able to convince the emperors to change the ancient policy of exile. Prisoners convicted of treason are still sent to the desolate sands to die, with nothing but the clothes on their backs. In thousands of years of records, I cannot find a single account of a prisoner surviving exile to the desolate sands. The wastes are littered with bones that have been picked dry by the endlessly circling bloodhawks or desperate Lakuni. Those who die there meet their end without the sanctity of the light. The Zakarum scholar Brast wrote that the desolate sands were created after a mage clan battle sent out explosive energies that devastated the entire area. But he doesn't account for the enormous skeletons. No one has ever identified them. Were they a lost trace of giant beasts? Demons? Mythical dragons? We may never know.
Oh, Diablo, you have so much lore. I mean, yeah, it's like, I'm like, ooh, I wonder what those could have been. My guess, based on the gigantic demons that we saw in Asmodan's army in Act 3, that would be my guess as to what they were. The Khazra.
My loutish companions have no curiosity about the Khazra. They're only interested in the bounty on their heads. But I am convinced the Khazra can be communicated with. It is dangerous, to be sure, but it is a risk I am willing to take.
And then he died.
I knew Inarius long ago, when he was still among the angels. But he grew weary of battling the demons after a time, and he began to secretly conspire with demons in order to forge a peace. The demoness Lilith became his greatest ally in the Hells, and many other demons and angels joined his cause.
Yep. Which, you know, as you're going to hear, led to the creation of Sanctuary.
After he gained a following, Inarius stole the sacred World Stone and used it to create and conceal a world he called Sanctuary. Demons and angels alike fled there, and some of them, including Inarius and Lilith, fell in love. Many of these unions resulted in children. They were called the Nephilim.
Yep, which is what my character is. I just realized, I love that there's multiple different books telling, like, the same story. I mean, we have this set of books talking about this, but then we also have the books from Inarius and Lilith talking about this. It's like, we're going to tell you the same story, but from multiple different perspectives. Which is okay, but if you don't add more to it, it's kind of like you're just kind of putting them in there in case we miss the other ones. So, and again, it's like, oh, did they actually fall in love? We find this out when we get the Inarius and Lilith books, but let's continue.
Inarius was alarmed when he realized that the Nephilim had the potential to surpass both angels and demons in power. He wished to limit their abilities, but Lilith demanded that they become her army. Their escalating conflict led to Sanctuary's discovery by the Demon Lords and the Angiris Council. In the end, Lilith was banished, and Inarius was given over to the demons, who have tortured him in the Hells ever since. Most of Inarius's followers were killed. Those who remained shared an even darker fate. Despite the tragedy, I believe the Nephilim may yet play a part in resolving the eternal conflict.
Yep. Which is what almost happened in Act 5, but fortunately we stopped Malthael from doing it in the wrong way. But it makes me think, could Inarius and Lilith, because they're both technically still alive, could they both actually come back? I mean, they're kind of talked about like as legendary figures, but they're both still alive. They're both around. but could they ever actually like come back? Could Inarius escape from hell and play a part in the future? Could Lilith return from her banishment and play a part? I would love to see if that could happen. Blizzard, try and pull that off or do it in an interesting way.
3 centuries ago, a much smaller Chaldeum depended upon small wells for its water. Then came the mysterious Dalgur, offering Chaldeum an oasis of unparalleled splendor, located in an area previously thought to be desert, asking only that his name be permanently affixed to the land. Then he vanished into the wastes.
I heard Dalgur and I thought, that sounds like a place in Mordor. Huh, the dungeons of Dalgur. Come on, you can't tell me that you weren't thinking the same thing. The Desert Aqueducts.
The Chaldean aqueducts were created by order of the Trade Consortium Council after the Dalgur Oasis was discovered 3 centuries ago. Though Chaldeum had been prosperous for many years, a reliable source of water allowed the city to grow even further. Luxurious public fountains were built to provide safe drinking water for everyone. In recent days, the aqueducts have become dilapidated and infested with vermin. The Imperial Guard has done nothing, proclaiming that the aqueducts were in tolerable condition. But I have seen them with my own eyes, and I know the truth. Many wealthy families, including myself, now prefer well water for our homes.
Alright, so these next 3 books, I gotta tell you guys something. These are probably the 3 hardest lore books to get. You know why? Because, 1, I found out in the forums that so many people were having trouble getting this. 2, you have to replay the Battlefields of Eternity map over and over, hoping that it gets dropped. And the only way it gets dropped is by one ancient corpse on the Battlefields of Eternity. Now, some have speculated that if you see angelic scrolls, you will not see the ancient corpse, because they won't appear at the same time. I'm here to tell you that's not true. Because twice, actually no, all 3 times, there was angelic scrolls and there was the ancient corpse on the map, but you have to replay the map over and over, because you can't get all, more than one on the map. You can only get one book per map. So yeah, that's why I'm up to Paragon level 70, because I had to replay that section over and over and over until I finally got all 3 of these books. They were so hard to get. But the reason I wanted to get them is because I thought it was interesting, because about the 3 primevals, talking about the discovery of Sanctuary. And I think this first one is Mephisto, I think the second one is Baal, and the third one is Diablo.
Cursed am I to lead an army of the blind. They do not perceive that the angels are fleeing this realm, and the ones they find are merely trapped or lost. A great change is upon us. Withdraw from the fields, my brothers. Some battles can only be won with words.
Enough of your idle speculation, Mephisto. I breached the fortress and saw it firsthand. The World Stone is gone. The angels I killed knew nothing about it. But since you are so perceptive, maybe you remember who else has been missing. Lilith. We must find her. Rip her limb from limb. Take the World Stone back.
You are all deceived, my brothers. A new age has already begun. Can you not sense them? Ugly creatures born in shadow. They feel terror, hatred, and the desire to destroy. Yes, but they are not ours yet. They will open their world to us very soon. An invitation we cannot refuse.
So basically that's explaining that after the 4 lesser evils overthrew the 3 primevals in hell when the Civil War broke out, that Mephisto, Baal, and Diablo first realized that the World Stone was gone, and then discovered Sanctuary, because Diablo even said there, look at those creatures. They feel terror, which is me, because I'm the Lord of Terror, hatred, because you're the Lord of Hatred, and they want to destroy, because you're the Lord of Destruction. So we'll go down there and we'll just take them for ourselves. So the whole part that they go to Sanctuary, take it for themselves, and then use Sanctuary. After they take Sanctuary, they go back to Hell and take it from the four other evils, and then take the Heavens. So it's to hear it from those three guys. That's why I thought it was kind of important, and that's why I worked so freaking hard to get those 3 books. So the Drowned Temple.
The world stone has been changed. Our children are born weak and suffer short lives. The demon Nereza promised to restore their power, but instead turned them into misshapen creatures and sent them to war against us. We may die, but not before she is sent back to the burning hells.
Though New Tristram and the fields surrounding it have been resettled over the years, the highlands remain empty save for the crumbling ruins of Leoric's old outposts. The king built more than one watchtower in his paranoia, but now they cannot even ward away goatmen and wild beasts. A tragedy, really.
Many centuries ago, King Corsic built Bastion's Keep to pen the barbarian threat in the north. After years of military disasters, the frustrated king led a large army out of the fortress and into the north to conquer the barbarians once and for all. Not one of them came back.
Ooh.
Pandemonium is the Alpha and the Omega of the eternal conflict. It lies at the center of all things, linking the realms of heaven and hell. Long ago, when the angels were young, the aspect of wisdom found the eye of Anu here. He named it the World Stone, and all of heaven swore to protect it.
The aspect of wisdom being Malthael at the time.
Pandemonium was destined to be our battlefield. It was formed in the chaos of the last struggle between the Diamond Warrior Anu and the Dragon Tathamet. Now eons of war have scarred every patch of ground. The cycle of victory and defeat is the foundation of our existence and the essence of the eternal conflict.
Which I guess is why it's aptly called the eternal conflict, because it could literally keep on going forever.
As war raged through Pandemonium, the aspect of justice called for a fortress to be raised around the World Stone. We built a shining citadel, but in time it fell to the demons. It has since changed hands countless times, becoming a patchwork of angelic and demonic expression. The Pandemonium Fortress housed the World Stone for many years, until the angel Inarius and the demon Lilith stole it away. With its loss, there was nothing left to fight for, and the fortress has been abandoned since. Our time in this land has drawn to an end. For now.
Until Malthael decided to use it to try and end the eternal conflict with the Black Soul Stone.
Westmarch originally grew from the efforts of the great General Rakis to spread his religion beyond the realms of the East. Seized by the superstitions of the Zakharum faith, he drove his paladins relentlessly across the barbaric western lands, subduing the uncivilized tribes he found there. Ultimately, he became king of them all. Despite his superstitious views, Rakis ruled as a just and fair king, who was much loved by his people. He was succeeded by his son Corsic, who attempted to eradicate the barbarian tribes of the north. The line of Rakis was broken when Corsic's son Corellan died with no heirs. After Corellan's death, the crown passed to Justinian the First, through a somewhat convoluted interpretation of Zakharum scripture. Thus began the Justinian dynasty. Seen as usurpers by many, the Justinians suffered nearly constant challenges to their rule. Finally, during the reign of Justinian III, a full-fledged insurrection broke out in the outlying region of Cartharus. The Catullus insurrection was led by a woman known only as Tira, who claimed to be descended from the sons of Rakis. This uprising was immediately seen as a war of the common man against the nobles and their Zakharum strictures. During the very height of the conflict, Tira seized control of Westmarch and proclaimed herself empress. Tira's newly established rule over Westmarch did nothing to quell the civil war, which continued until she was driven mad and eventually killed by the plague. Cornelius, grandson of Justinian the Third and slave to the Zakharum faith, used this opening to crush the rebels once and for all and become the new king. The Zakharum Church always held an unhealthy sway in Westmarch, even after the ascension of rulers more interested in power than religion. When the true nature of the faith was finally exposed, however, it completely eroded any influence the church had over civil affairs. And rightly so, I might add. Westmarch is currently ruled by Justinian the Fourth. Originally thought to be a callow youth, Justinian came into his own in the years following his ascension to the throne. Rumors still abound about demonic activities surrounding his coronation, but I believe those are simply the product of overactive imaginations, fueled by the ever-prevalent myths of the Zakharum.
Huh. Which is interesting considering that I'm playing the Crusader.
Everyone is dead. Billard, that damn fool, was killed trying to communicate with the Khosra, and then the cultists showed up. As soon as I saw them, I ran. I wanted no part of their dark magic. I heard the screams of my companions, but there was nothing I could do to help.
I knew that guy was gonna die.
We were so sure we could beat whatever traps the ancients had laid for tomb robbers. But the dead bodies of my friends testify to the folly of our arrogance. I will be dead soon as well. Our greed was our downfall.
That's what happens when you're greedy.
Chancellor Eamon, it is of the utmost importance that we secure my manor from the traitorous rabble in Tristram. The caves to the east are too close to my land. They must be blocked, completely obstructed. I believe the Archbishop Lazarus has magically bound some arachnids of late. They may serve us well.
Oh yeah, those giant spiders.
Royal Guard, with great pain, I must admit that our king is no longer able to separate reason from madness. He orders the caverns to be filled with the Archbishop's monstrous creations, and will hear nothing else. Perhaps the legendary ancients themselves once dwelled there, but now we must desecrate their ruins.
While exploring a cave with hopes of finding hidden treasure, I came upon a most grisly sight. A heap of dead bodies. Unbelievably, as I was searching them for any items of value, they began to rise. I must tell them of this in New Tristram before it's too late.
And last but not least, Warrior's Rest.
Alaric says that our people can survive the coming battle, but I saw the truth in his eyes. Why did he order me to guard the beacon of honor? Those shambling things are slaughtering my people in the forest above, and there's nothing I can do to stop it.
Alright, so that's all the world books that I have, at least for the Crusader. I don't know if I picked up any more, but I think maybe there's like one or two more in like Act 3 or Act 5, but they're really not completely relevant. So that's it for the lore books I have. So when we come back, we will be either doing the people lore books, quest lore books, or the bestiary lore books. Stay tuned.